Hello and welcome to SoBricks. I'm Adam and this is SoBricks. This is my channel for reviewing Lego sets and building them and other Lego related stuff. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the Lego Nexo Knights Ruina's Lock and Roller set. This is set number 70349. It has 208 pieces and I paid $40 for this set. This is a retired set. Nexo Knights. All of Nexo Knights is a retired theme. This is from season 3 of Nexo Knights. It came out in 2017. It had a retail price in 2017 of $20. So $20, 200 pieces. Some minifigures in here. Nexo Knights, original theme. Currently, the price on like Bricklink and other aftermarket places for retired sets, I think is around $40, which is what I paid used. That's for sealed inbox. If it's used, it's probably cheaper than retail. I've looked at some Nexo Knight stuff in the past. I really liked a lot of it. And I'm excited to take a look at this because this stuff kind of looked really interesting to me. And it's a small little thing and Ruina looks pretty cool. So I'm excited to take a look at this, and so that's what I'm going to do. So in this video, I'm going to open this up, I'm going to put this together, and then I'm going to share my thoughts on it. So while I build, I will speed the video up, and then I'll slow it back down to review this set. So until then, enjoy! Okay, so while we look at the build for this Lego Nexo Knights Ruina's Lock and Roller set, I just wanted to say thanks for watching and then remind you, if you like this video, click the thumbs up. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button. That helps me a lot. Starting on the build, we actually put together all of the minifigures right away for this one. This is before I think they were separating them out throughout the bags. This set also didn't have numbered bags. It just, dump them all the pieces out. There's not a ton of pieces, but here we're working on the kind of motorcycle element of this, kind of half of one of the vehicles for this set. And I really liked this. I think I saw online it's called a Gargo bike, which I do talk about in the full review. And then we can kind of work on the carriage or what's being pulled behind the bike here, which is really cool. It's got some great functionality. I was pretty impressed with how well it worked. But we essentially build like a cell or like a cage sort of on the back of this, and it gets its own wheels and everything there, but there's some really cool stuff, bars on the windows, kind of a cell door, different things like that. And then we have some functionality built into it, which is really cool, and I experiment with that for a little while, and I really enjoyed this. So now on to my review for this set. Okay, so here we have the Lego Nexo Knights Ruina's Lock and Roller set. This is really fun, really cool, and another great entry to the Nexo Knights kind of line, at least as I've experienced it. I think this is really great and really fun. So I am happy I was able to look at this, and I'm excited to talk about it here because this is pretty nice. And so I'm just excited about it. So the first thing we will look at is the minifigures, because you do get some. You get 3 in this set, which is great. The first one I will show is one that I think I've shown before because I've done sets that are, specifically like with this character and other stuff. So this one is Aaron or Aaron there. And this is one of the Nexo Knights. They do have this like crossbow or expo or whatever this is. So it's like the stud shooter type trigger mechanism, but it's kind of a mini bolt shooter. It has these kind of flare elements coming out of the side. So if we push that down, we get a little translucent orange kind of bolt in there, which is nice. We do get an extra one of those bolts, those mini kind of bulb pieces with the bar element there. Now I've covered a set that I think is like sort of Aaron's expo flyer like type plane thing. I think it was something like that, and I really enjoyed that one. But that's why I think I've seen this character before. So this is done the Nexo Knight style, really cool here. I love the helmet there as kind of like the modern sort of space helmet, but then we have this kind of knight grill face covering with a little bit of an antenna on it or something like that. That's done in translucent orange. Underneath that, we can see the face. I think these helmets are so cool. So Aaron's face underneath here, we get a nice expression, a little bit of facial hair under there, and some other little markings. And then they have another face, which is very, very silly. I don't know if this is like something from the show, or because I think there was a show for Nexo Knights, but I'm not 100%. But something going on here. They're very, very happy. Eyes kind of closed, some dimples, facial hair still present, raised eyebrows, but just that really big grin there. So pretty stark contrast between these two faces, which I think is nice. Then beneath that, we have the kind of shoulder arm piece here, or the chest piece. So it's got a little cutout in the center so we can see the minifig printing underneath there. It is dual molded with kind of this pearl silver as well as the translucent orange. If I take it off, we can see what this looks like. It's got studs on the back, has the kind of pauldrons here, really nice shaping and angles on those. And then, yeah, it has that cutout area in the front, which will show like the Nexo Knights sort of power thing. Looking at the minifigure without the armor on, we have kind of what looks like the armor sort of patterning going on here. Super, super detailed, has kind of a wolf sort of, or a fox or some kind of animal sort of in there. That's the element that will show through on the armor there. But tons of like really detailed paneling, nice changes in color and shading and depth throughout here, as well as different kind of metallic printing and different stuff like that. We do have printing on the midsection for this, so this feels actually pretty seamless here, even then going down to the leg printing. So I really like how this flows and how things are lined up on this. So I like that a lot. No printing on the arms on this one, but printing on the legs all the way down to the feet. And if we look at the back of the torso, we kind of have the back of this sort of armor plating, sort of this cross between like a knight's armor and sort of a science fiction sort of mech suit type Iron Man-esque kind of thing there. So really cool to get that. And then besides the other accessory that I just showed, the bolt shooter kind of expo type thing, Aaron also gets a shield. So it's on one of the Nexo Knights like shield holders here, which is good. And this is, it has the like studs up here, hollow studs, it's got the bar like handle, it's got studs on the back, a nice molded thing. And then it has the printed Nexo Knight piece there in that translucent color. So you only get a couple powers in this set, but that is okay. This one is for the Gorilla Roar power, which I'm not sure what it is specifically can be used for, but when scanned in the app and played in the game, that's a whole thing. The other thing that I thought was kind of fun and interesting, it is called out, and I think it's shown on the box art, excuse me, a little bit, that Aaron can use this as a hoverboard sort of flying rescue thing. So I haven't seen that, I don't think, done before, but the Nexo Knight shield stuff can be, versatile and with a little imagination, a little play. I don't know. So that shield, it is called out as that can be a sort of hoverboard flying mechanism thing there. And I think that is pretty nice. The next one we have here is Queen Halpert. Now, I believe I have seen Queen Halpert in other sets. I looked at one set a while ago. Maybe it was one of the earliest ones, Nexo Knights, I ever looked at. It was called like Infernox Captures the Queen. And I think they were in that. They do have a club here, kind of a, not quite a mace, but almost kind of a big hammer with these like pearl silver kind of pyramid tile pieces. Very simple build for this. And looking at the character here, I don't remember how different this one is, but nice hairpiece here, regal, kind of some braids and some buns on the back and different stuff like that. She has really good detail. They have really good detail on the face for some like wrinkles and maybe a mole or a birthmark or a beauty mark or whatever that is. Kind of eyelashes are visible here, makeup, stuff like that. this character also has an alternate face, which again is like a very dramatic difference, which is nice. So this one, the queen looks much angrier. Maybe they're yelling, maybe they're whatever. So the mouth is a lot wider open, harsher angle on the eyebrows there, and just a much angrier face all in all. So that is pretty cool. And then beneath that, we have another piece of armor. This one is not dual molded, but it is really nice. It is different. It is done in the pearl kind of gold there. It does have the cutout in the center, kind of for the Nexo Knight shield. Some nice molded details on the side of that there. And then obviously the shoulder covering, and then up around the back, it's kind of got a collar on it almost, which the hair doesn't interact with, so that is pretty close, minimal like gapping in there. It's got 4 studs on the back, so we could attach more things to that should we desire. And underneath the armor, if I pop that off, we can kind of see what that looks like there, which is fine. And this is really nice, really detailed. So again, we have the kind of emblem here. This one is a dragon kind of looking thing. And then I love the printing for this. No printing on the arms, but printing all the way through the rest of the figure. Super detailed. We do get the suggestion of kind of hips or waist curvature and shape there. And we have this really awesome sort of Iron Man-esque kind of suit of armor that is like sort of techno medieval kind of stuff, which is really cool. Again, with the gold printing on there, which is really nice. I really like the color choice for the actual torso plastic, and then the printing on top of it is quite good. Lots of different kind of line thicknesses throughout here. We do have printing onto the midsection, and it again feels very seamless there, and then down onto the legs. This one does also have printing kind of on the piece between the legs, which Aaron did not have, but then printing all the way down to the feet. Looking at the rear of this character, we get kind of the back of the armor here with a little bit of that like kind of bluish color coming through there, but more sort of that gold as well as some of the silver and stuff in here. I think these are really great. I have been really impressed by all the Nexo Knight figures that I see, and I've said it before about Dreams and Hidden Side and Nexo Knights and Chima, like, and Ninjago, because these are like Lego properties themselves, they go really all out on the detail for the minifigures. The last one we get here is Ruina, which is one of the antagonists or one of the villain characters or in opposition. They have a kind of like staff here. This is a printed disc piece there with kind of some energy swirls on it. Also have the kind of lightning bolt piece up there. Very kind of average sort of accessory there, but I really like this character a lot too. So first, this hairpiece is great. It's really unique. It's got unique shape, kind of having the like cover kind of coming around the front, but then having kind of almost like a ponytail or something coming around the back. It's really textured, really nice. It frames up the face in an interesting way, and the color of this is really great as well. So I was super happy to see this. This is not, I thought it was going to be kind of a little more of a softer kind of rubbery plastic, but it is not. So it's got some really good, well, it's got really good clutch power, and I'm not worried about that getting worse over time. I just think this is a excellent hairpiece, really cool, really unique, and happy to see that. And then looking at Ruina underneath the hair, so interesting face, different color, kind of skin tone there, and stuff. I don't know if Ruina is like associated with the, I think it's kind of like a rock or stone type thing going here. different than maybe like the Globlins and kind of like the lava and rock stuff. But I think it's all kind of similar to that. They have a really detailed face with kind of some glowing eyes and a frown here, a different kind of like energy sort of or makeup or whatever. There's also like a scar or kind of a snake looking thing over there, but different kind of stuff going on the face. This one also has an alternate face, again, pretty distinct. So this one's got more of a smirk, more of a kind of slanted kind of smile there, and the other one is a little bit more angry or something like that. No printing on the arms. Do have printing on the torso. Again, we get some shape for the kind of curvature of their torso there. Have this cool kind of like rock, almost geode kind of looking torso printing, and the colors on here are actually pretty good. So it's printed on black, but I think the opacity on a lot of these is quite good. So I like to see that. And it just kind of feels like elemental in some sense, the way that these things all kind of work and how this kind of armor, this plating is built up. And actually the kind of like highlighting that they did in sort of these like energy breaks between these little like panels is really nice. So there's the kind of like blue or purple color, and then inside of there's kind of like a lighter blue or almost like a white there to kind of get that nice, almost ombre effect to it, but nice kind of shading in there. So I really like that. And then this is on a skirt piece, so no midsection. And the printing does go all the way up to the edge on this brick. It is like a roof brick, not a new skirt piece. It's the older skirt piece. So it is doesn't have the kind of curve at the rear, and it just has studs up on top. It doesn't have like more what the bottom of minifigure legs look like they do on the kind of modern skirt piece there. But again, really good printing here, really seamless. Things match up well, which is very good. And it has the same kind of detailing there with some more kind of like rock type things down at the bottom of that. No printing on the arms, back of the torso, very, very similar, but has some different kind of design stuff going on, different shapes. It doesn't have kind of this central sort of combination of plates going around it. It's kind of got some different stuff going around the back. We can see a little bit more up towards the upper back, kind of just below the neck there is a little bit different. No printing on the back of the like roof brick or slope brick that is used for the skirt piece here. So those are the three minifigures. I think, these are great. I'm always impressed by Nexo Knight minifigures. I really like them. This like speaks to me, this sort of, I think it's a super unique concept, really, really fun to do, like sci-fi, action, futuristic, like techno, medieval kind of combination here. I think is like really, really smart and done in a pretty cool way. And I think they do a really great job with these figures. So really happy to get all three of those. And then the rest of the set is Ruina's Lock and Roller, so sort of a play on like rock and roller or whatever. And it is this vehicle, which is essentially like a kind of a chariot or like a carriage or something like that. Now I've seen the like horse things that the Nexo Knights ride on, those like hover horses or whatever, which I think is great. And I've also seen a chariot for, I think, like the Beastmaster's chariot or something like that, which is another like villain vehicle that had these big globlins at the front, and I thought that was really cool. So this is like a little bit different. It's built in essentially two sections. It's kind of got two vehicles here, and they are detachable, so we can kind of go through them. You build them independently, and then you can bring them together. So the first one here, I think this is really great. So this is called a Gargo bike. So the reason I said this is sort of like elemental or sort of stone or whatever, based on the colors and different things, is like Gargo bike. I hear, it's like gargoyle. It's like a gargoyle bike, which I think is really, really great. And this is awesome. So it's built really, really simply. We can see the Technic bricks that are used for the kind of core of this. And looking at the bottom, it is very, very basic. We use these nice kind of wide, hard plastic round pieces for the wheels, which I think is pretty great. And so we have that on there. There is a like axle brick, or it's a 2x2 brick with Technic pins coming off the side in the center. And then we just build up on top of that with like not too much. So we got like slopes back here. I like the color choices on this. We have these at the back, which maybe could be exhaust or could be something else, but they also end up being the connection point to what is being pulled behind this. I really like how we use that inverted slope there to kind of go just over the wheel without there's like very small amount of clearance in there, so the wheel still will spin freely. We do have place for a minifigure to sit or stand. Because Ruina is on a skirt piece, they don't sit, they would like stand on here, but that's okay. And then we have kind of the face area up there. So I think this is done really, really cool. It looks like a gargoyle. It's got kind of some stone thing, kind of some glowing eyes going up here. Nice kind of piece usages for the front of this. Got the horns on there. We also use these flipper or like fin kind of swimming pieces, which are used on like dragons and other stuff. But we have those on there. And this head can actually turn, you know, a little bit like right and left just because of the way it's connected. It also can move up and down a bit here, which is nice. And even when we like bring it kind of as far down as we reasonably can, we still get clearance under here. So even if I like press that down, yeah, now it's interacting, but it's not going to like rest there most likely. So that's really good. It's done with a super simple connection, but I didn't expect to be able to like articulate this and turn this and lift it up and things like that. So I think that is pretty well achieved, pretty well done. And then we kind of get the arms or like gargoyle sort of claws there with these nice translucent light blue sort of claw elements up at the front. These can be articulated a little bit as well. Of course, the claws are just clipped on, so those can be moved. They do have Technic pins coming out here to make sure that they don't come all the way down. If those were removed and the arms came like all the way down to the side, I believe they would not allow the front wheel to, contact the surface it's on. This is pretty, it's balanced okay. These wheels they're thick enough, and it actually doesn't want to like tip over super easily. I'm sure it could happen, but because of the arms and how like wide it gets there, and it doesn't have a ton of distance to really like roll, so it is pretty low center of gravity for this. So I think it would right itself pretty easily when sort of using this, but it rolls well. It reminds me a bit of some Chima stuff, which is cool. So that it's I don't know. I just like the idea of like a gargoyle sort of coming to life. I don't know if that's exactly what happens in like Ghostbusters, but it feels similar to that, but like a gargoyle coming to life from a castle or from something into a vehicle, kind of like they do with the hover horses, where it's like it's a hovercraft vehicle, but it still like looks aesthetically like medieval and a knight sort of riding a horse, but it is like this super futuristic sort of technological interpretation of that. And I see that here as well. So we get the Gargo bike. That's what it looks like with Ruina on there. So they do stand on there, not a big deal. I think that is appropriate. We don't have like places for accessories in this instance to be stored on here, but then we have the rear kind of vehicle that's pulled behind this, which is like, this is the Gargle bike. I'm calling this the lock and roller, which is kind of this like mobile prison cell carriage thing. And this is really cool as well. So the build for this was pretty interesting. Again, we're going to use some Technic bricks pretty early on. We have a kind of cheater wheel, or like a small wheel up front here. That's one of those really tiny wheels. We got these big chunky wheels, or like gear wheels at the rear, which spin well, which is great. And the colors for this are good. It's consistent from one to the other. I like the little pops of the translucent there. And it's essentially, yeah, like a carriage or something, but it is like a jail cell. So we have kind of the bars on the window pieces there. We have a ladder back here. We have kind of a bar sort of cell door we can open in there. It's got some kind of stone sort of things on the floor, bars over on the window here. We get these nice sort of wings up top and some different kind of asymmetry with some cheese slopes there of some different colors. And then at the front, we have this sort of like elemental looking small ugly rock piece, but done in translucent like light blue there, which is great. I think translucent light blue, could be purple. I sometimes I don't even know. But that is a trans color piece there, which is very cool. We do have another Nexonite shield here. This one's a little bit different. It's interesting because it's one of the forbidden powers, and the way that it's printed on the tile there, the Nexonite shield tile, is actually like upside down sort of, but that is well considered when it's, you know, attached to the rest of this. So this is the power for the Wrecking Wrath forbidden power. Kind of looks like a Globlin type sort of wrecking ball thing sort of swinging around. And that is printed on a translucent piece as well, which is great. And then we have the like the black kind of rocky it's a different shield piece than the Nexonite one is, but it still does have the well, it doesn't have studs at the top, but it has the hollow like stud element. But I don't think you could stud anything down on there. We could on the rear. So that is one part where it differs, because you could actually stud something down on these, but these you could only like put a bar element into. But we could stud something down on the back. So that is really cool, but it does go like this because it is attached. And there's some really cool functionality for this. So this attaches kind of on this like central sort of flagpole or something there, but you can see that actually connects to some Technic here, and we have a little bit of a mechanism. Super simple. I liked how this was done. So we're using like these Technic axle kind of connectors and bushings in here, stud these down, and then we actually put a bar piece up in this like axle connector, and then that slots into a pinhole in this Technic down here, so that when this moves like that, it will pull these out, or like, you know, have those go back in. And what that does is activate a bit of a trap door. So you may have already seen this, but if we look at the bottom, you can see we have kind of the odd color here with that yellow peeking out there. So that might be a little bit strange. You don't see it from most angles, but maybe a little bit from the rear and stuff like that. And certainly if you're looking at it from the bottom, this does have a bit of a forward lean to it, which is good. And essentially what happens is if we hit this up here, it will lean that back. It'll extend out these kind of like pull bar up here, and it will drop a trap door out there. So when it's in, the trapdoor is up all the way, and we could have somebody trapped in there. But then when we do this, the trapdoor opens up, and we could get somebody free from there, which I think is like really cool, fun little like play thing. It actually, the way that it's built, it doesn't take very much to get this to actuate. It does a pretty good job. It maybe takes a little bit more than you could get from a stud shooter or a tile shooter or something. I don't believe like this is going to be able to do it. Although it hit it, I'm holding it pretty close, all things considered, but it did move. Okay, so that is not that bad. That worked. And so it doesn't take a whole lot. And the fact that it works with the kind of projectiles in this set is impressive, and it's just nice design. So because we have the forward lean, it does help that like these pieces down here sort of want to slide out of there. But it's not like too much that it's going to slide out on their own, but it just doesn't take too much to get that to move. And I also tested this for a little while to see how the character can come out of there. I'll show sort of how this connects up to the front. So we have these clips up here kind of by these like claw or stone rock face type pieces. So there's some clips up there, and we can attach these kind of exhaust things sort of from the Gargo bike to the back of that. And when that's all connected, again, this is very, very sturdy. The wheelbase back here is really wide, and they're big wheels. And so when this is attached, there's like really little chance of this tipping over, which is great. So we have that on there. We still get kind of the forward wheel to keep it up a little bit, and this just rolls really, really good. It's a little bit noisy just because of the type of wheels we're using on the rear, but that is great. And when it is attached, that still works there. I also like that we don't have to do too much to get the trapdoor back in place. So it really is a matter of like just moving this back to position here. If I knock it over, we can like push in the bottom part of that. If we do this, you don't have to like hold the trapdoor up and then slide those things in. It is just really like you just push it back in, and then it is back to normal. So when I looked at this, because the trapdoor itself is actually like tiled down for the most part, it's a little bit difficult to get a minifigure in there. Also, because of the like armor here, it's not super easy to get them in as well, and they're going to be kind of bouncing around in there. There's not a great way to stud them down, but you can get them in there. So here, Queen Halbert is captured in there. If we were to be like driving this and this got hit, and you can see that the queen is rescued from their captor here. And I can put them in there again. This is with them sitting again. They're not like studded down, so they're also kind of look like they're laying in there a little bit. But if we do this and we hit that, and the queen is rescued there. If we had them kind of flattened out and laying in here, I think it would work largely the same. So we can get them out that way. I could not find, because this is also like angled and there's no studs in there, I found it to be like very, very difficult to get this character, or want any of these characters realistically, to like reliably stand in here. And I suppose we're close there. So I think they are standing, sort of. And if we were to do this when they're standing, that time, it still came out. I found that when it's standing, like the clearance at the rear of this is pretty close to a minifigure height, but not exactly. So when this is, released, can a standing minifigure get out of there? It's just really, really close. But this is all tiled out, so that does make it easier for them to fall out of there. There's not stuff as much for them to get caught on, but then it does make putting them in there a little bit more finicky, because they're just not going to stay in the like same place. I suppose it might be possible to like, get them clipped on, like one of their hands clipped on one of the bars or something like that to pose it, sort of. And there's not a great way to like take off the roof or anything. These are all like studded down with, multiple studs, so it's not super easy. It wouldn't be like too destructive to take off the roof stuff. At least I don't think it would be, but not super easy either. So I don't think that's really intended. Let me see here. What did I pull off? So getting access in there, especially for somebody with like big figure hands like mine, is not super simple. Working with the door frames and things like that. And I think I don't have this on there all of the way. So now I destroyed this a little bit. So I think we have to move this back a little bit. And so it's not that destructive to take off the roof, but it's not, I don't think, intended to have the roof, be removable easily. And now I am facing all sorts of other challenges getting this door back on here, and hopefully we can get this good here and get that back together. So let me see here. If I put this on, maybe if I take the wheels off, I wouldn't be operating at this angle. That would be a little bit better. There we go. And we'll do this one here. Then we'll do this one like this. And then we should be pretty much back to good here. So that is all of that. I think that's a really successful function, a really successful feature. I think the design for this is pretty cool as well. I don't mind seeing a little bit of the Technic bricks here, and I think they do a decent job covering stuff up because the color scheme of this in general works with sort of the blue Technic pins and things like that. I don't feel weird about it. There's not a ton of pieces in here, but it's got some stuff. You kind of get two vehicles or two independent things that can come together to form something larger, but can also be separated out. I should also mention that there is additional clips on the kind of carriage or on the cage at the back of this, which we can use to hold some of the accessories. So Ruina's sort of staff there, lightning scythe type thing, we can attach to the side. And then, the Queen Halbert's mace or club sort of piece can be clipped on the side, so they don't have access to that. So we have space for that, which I always appreciate. And then, Aaron doesn't get their own vehicle or their own sort of things for this, but maybe Aaron is going to fly in on their Nexo Shield hoverboard type thing, and that is going to they're gonna fly in and they're gonna shoot this, and they're gonna rescue Queen Halbert and maybe try to get their club back on. And so that is all well and good. So there's good play here. I'm really impressed that this sort of bolt shooter is enough to get the shield thing to move. And I don't know if I just lost that. Maybe it always takes two shots. Maybe, I don't know. I've been pretty lucky with my aim so far, but like I say, I'm pretty close to this. So let's see if I can get it to do that again. Ooh, almost. And now I have lost another one of those little pieces there. Okay, I found one of them at least, but I will make note that you do get two, and I just only found one after using it. So in that time, it didn't quite get there, I think, or maybe it did, but now there we go. Yeah, I don't know. It was a little bit close. And that is all fine. So nice little design here. 3 characters, cool characters, well-detailed characters. Get some accessories. Get this nice sort of chariot prison captured thing here, which is great, which I don't know if it's just common for Queen Halbert to be captured, if that was a running gag, but the Infernox captures the Queen set is also sort of like that, where the Infernox kind of monster thing has a cavity in it that can hold the queen when they are captured, and they're captured again here, sort of in this lock and roller, and that's everything that's in this set. I'll show the extra pieces. You do get some. Pretty straightforward. You do get 2 of the bolt things for there, but you don't get like an extra one of those, which I would have liked to see. So you do get an extra of kind of the like flare-like piece that is used for the expo claw pieces, the mechanism for firing the projectile, some Technic pins, studs, 1x1s, tiles, bar element, all of those little pieces, all of your 1x1s, tiny stuff like that. So that is great. This set is 208 pieces. It has 3 minifigures. It is retired. It retailed for $20 in 2017. I paid $40 for this, which is, I would say, pretty good. It seems to be about the going rate in that like 30, 35, 40, 45, $50 range for this post retirement. I'm happy about that. There's no brittle brown in here, which is great. I think actually the $20 price point for this, even though it was 8 years ago, feels pretty nice. I mean, this is a decent amount of stuff for $20. I would be happy if this was on the shelves, or something like this was on the shelves, with like this volume of stuff, no stickers, this amount of minifigures with this amount of detail. I would be super happy to pay $20 for this in 2025, or something, similar to this. It's just really, really fun. I think the value sort of speaks for itself. It's got stuff to do. It's got storyline. It's got narrative. It's got play features. It's a great looking model, all things considered. And I really like the Nexo theme. I really like that line, and so I'm super happy with this. I paid obviously more than what the manufacturer suggested retail price is, but I paid about what the market value is for this, so I'm pretty happy about that. And I just think this is like super fun. I'm so pleased I was able to look at this, and I feel grateful about that. And I think that is it. So really, really cool stuff here. Really, really fun, and I'm super pleased. So wonderful. I like it. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up and give it a like. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button down below so you can stay up to date on all the LEGO videos I'll be doing here in the future. Subscribing helps me a lot, means a lot to me, so thank you very much. If you want to support the channel in a different way, there's membership, supers, and thanks. You can give money to the channel if you would like. There's a Patreon, there's a Buy Me a Coffee link, there's merchandise. I'm wearing some of it. It is great. This is the like Broken Bricks stuff, which has some pictures of some brittle brown on it, actually. And this is the premium long sleeve tee. You can find that stuff at tpublic.com. Search for SoBricks. There's a link in the description, link on my channel page, all of that stuff. A great way to support the channel. There's affiliate links as well, so you can click on those links and buy brick built toy sets or other things as well. And I might get a small commission for those if you use one of those links, so that helps as well. Every little bit helps. It does add up, and I greatly appreciate it. So thank you very much. And with all of that said, until next time, thanks. Bye.